You may remember that I did a video about a young man named Kyle Basinga, who unfortunately is no longer on this earth. And you may remember that it was being investigated as self-inflicted. And at current time, it's still in that same echelon. And the police, before they give any information, I guess, to the public, they're wanting that information to be given to the family.
Tonight, Cobb County leaders are addressing the death of a young man found at a Marietta park. It's a case that has sparked concern in Metro Atlanta and beyond. Kyle Basinga was found dead at Fair Oaks Park last Wednesday. The 21-year-old was actually reported missing out of Atlanta prior to his death. His death has been ruled a... Police say there was no foul play involved, but there has been some public speculation about what took place.
From everything that we have collected thus far, indicate that he was alone at the time. So there has been not one piece of evidence so far that would indicate that anyone else was there.
Police say they are waiting to meet with the family before releasing any additional information to the public about this case.
At, I'm guessing, a meeting or a conference that they'll have with each other about all the information and what they have, which is the smart thing to do. And you may remember for all these past few months, videos I've done about mental health and how there are people who take their lives, and instead of people having an honest conversation around mental health, you will see them having conversation about their pointless fan fiction and how they think that what they think about a story is true in fact, and when information comes out to debunk it, they suddenly don't care about the story anymore because their fan fiction was destroyed by the unfortunate reality that mental health in their eyes is viewed as a joke, and they spend time proving my point. And you will remember about Kyle Basinga, all the different people who made their stances very clear that they are suspicious of this, that they believe it was some form of a lynching, that they believe that this was some form of targeted attack upon a young African-American male. And you might remember one specific individual. Now, you might think that I'm picking on one person when it was a bunch of people saying the same thing, but this person is specific. This person got the attention of Kyle Basinga's family, and they reached out to this person, and they essentially told her, hey, delete this video. It is not the time. And I do believe that the family had a statement where they were asking for a little bit of patience and time and a little bit of respect because it's their family member who is no longer here. And while they're grieving, they're also having to take the time to listen to the police about what is being said about their son, brother, nephew, their family. And they have to go through that process. And you would think when you're making videos that involve other people and the real situations that they're going through, criminal, funny, you would imagine that that could get family members a little bit miffed. And if you're saying something that's a little bit distasteful, they may reach out to you and ask you, hey, delete this. And it's at that point you have a choice. You could either recognize the humanity in the situation and how the topic is very fresh, very new, and they're trying to process information. They're trying to grieve. They're trying to pay tribute. They're trying to plan a funeral while also dealing with all of that in their minds that their family member is gone. And you could recognize the pain in that and delete your statements and sentiments, or you could do dumb shit.
The friends of Kyle Basinga have reached out to me on Instagram requesting that I take my video down. Threatening, mind you, that if I don't take it down, then something wicked is going to happen to me. I, along with several other creators of this community, do not believe and feel that this has been a self-inflicted incident. And just because we agree to disagree doesn't give you the right or permission to make threats towards content creators. His family and friends believe that this was a self-infliction because of what the police report is stating. However, there is a community and a plethora of us who this story does not sit right with. And that's okay. Like, I think y'all have to take y'all's feelings out of it, because grief is a whirlwind. When you take your emotions out of it, you will realize that our feelings are valid. The history in the South is what makes it valid. Him getting into a verbal interaction and exchange on video with the police officer about self-identification because he was being profiled is adding to the motivation. It feels like a cover-up for a lot of us. There is no timestamp on that exact video just yet, but the fact that that's out there and he was engaged with this officer before he went missing says a lot. My personal humble opinion, because how are you going to tell me that that is not related? Is there an actual video of Kyle with a rope in his hand walking into that park? Is there a video of him actually committing Let me stop. That is so triggering. Like, just even talking about it is triggering. Because that's what it's gonna have to take to convince a lot of us. This is say they last saw him on Valentine's Day around 4 p.m. walking into the park alone. Something still isn't sitting right with this story, y'all. It's not adding up. Condolences to his family. Also, let me know if you received any of these threats. Because whether y'all agree to disagree doesn't give you the right to say that something bad is going to end up happening to the content creator. Peace and blessings be with you. And for the ones who were mad at me for not saying his name in the video, Hood Anchor Ye was so quick on the scene that he didn't even mention his name because it wasn't even given at the time. All I know is that that cop in that video needs to be questioned. That lady in that car that stood up for him needs to be found and questioned. At the end of the day, we all want the same thing. Justice for Kyle. Mentally ill or not, there are other ways that black men in our community handle that. I'm gonna leave it at that.
2 things. Number 1, you not valid in a fucking thing. Why? Because that's not your friend. That's not your family member. You don't get to operate under the basis of your perceived feeling about a story when you know nothing. All you and various other people did was say it was a lynching and moved on to the next subject. You did not give out any information that would have anybody actually think for a second, oh, well, maybe we should have a little bit more eyes on this. All you said was, maybe it was this. Black men don't do this. Black men don't do it like this, because for some reason we have this weird gimmick in our minds that we all know how somebody who's dealing with something up here is going to operate 24/7. And that's dumb. It proves a lack of understanding towards people who are suffering just because you want to have the hot take and your fan fiction be validated by strangers. And when people who are close to the actual story say no, then you feel personally attacked, which brings me to number 2 that proves the point about number 1 and how you truly don't care and you're not valid whatsoever. You mentioned a video where Kyle Basinga is having an interaction with a police officer. Now, I don't know the full circumstances of this interaction, but you mentioned that there's no timestamp of this video, which is kind of odd because in all of the 30 seconds it took me to find the video, I did find a timestamp from September in 2025. Why are we sitting here thinking that this somehow correlates to what occurred apparently around Valentine's Day of 2026? Maybe, let me get into the mind of a stupid person. Oh, that cop was very upset that this colored was sitting there barking at him and not bowing down to his white tyrannical rule. So he's been plotting for months to take his life, and he saw him go into the woods and he said this is gonna be the perfect time, even though the cops said that they got video of the young man walking into the woods, and so far they haven't said anybody walked in before him or after him. It would stand to reason that something here makes a little bit more sense than the other. And when I have to think about the 2 options, a young man unfortunately deciding that the best course of action for his life is to take it, or dumbass lady saying, oh, this doesn't sit right with me, I'm more mad that no one's giving me information, no one's paying attention to my version of the story, yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna go with the first option because that one matters a little bit more than a random bitch's fan fiction. If you have people reaching out to you, looking at what you're saying, knowing that you're just spouting shit, and they're asking you, take it down, you might want to have that conversation with yourself that maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. In the realm of wanting to know about a story and wanting to keep it as a topic for people, I could understand why you might not, but your response to these people telling you to do that makes it seem like you don't even give too much of a fuck and you mad that you got pressed over it. Well, let me just say, as a casual individual who just so happens to be black, you don't fucking matter. You are not validated in coming up with a fucking story in terms of how you want to rationalize somebody else's choices and their life. You're sick in the fucking head and your random fan fiction is not valid whatsoever. And because I just noticed this while I'm editing this video, she made this video 2 days ago and has not told her audience of people that are backing her up and patting her on the back that this video she's claiming is key to why people are being suspect and why it's a cover-up. She hasn't told them it's from September. She's telling motherfuckers that the case is back open on nobody's authority. This is being investigated. It was never closed. They were investigating it as self-inflicted. They never closed the case. They openly are waiting for the family so that they can give the information to the family, the people who deserve that information. And all the while, her dumbass is trying to act as if she's got the keys to the kingdom when she fucking does not. It's somehow triggering for the young lady to try to rationalize what could have happened to this young man while also coming up with a baseless story around a video that's a couple months old. But you can imagine who it's more difficult for. Not triggering, difficult, traumatizing for. The family, the friends. Why is that, Leon? Why is it so traumatic for them? Well, it's a son, it's a nephew, it's a brother, it's a friend who's no longer here. And while they're trying to grieve, dumbasses are coming in saying the Ku Klux Klan is back. The Ku Klux Klan decided, hey, we're going to be the ones to handle this African American. We are going to try to tie a story or a video that right now has no relevance into a current situation because we got nothing better to do. We got nothing on our minds. We ain't got no trendy makeup topics. We ain't got no try-on hauls. We ain't got no celebrity drama. So we just going to make up some shit on the fly. And I said it with Trey Reed, and I said it in this regard too. I hope you motherfuckers are right, because if you're right, we have a story that is being covered up and deserves to be talked about and investigated for potential corruption. But if you just so happen to be wrong, which it seems like you are, ooh-wee, you don't care about mental health whatsoever. You don't care about African-American males' mental health. You perceive it as a joke because the unfortunate conversations around mental health are the fact that there are people out there who take their lives. And for some odd reason, that is difficult for people to talk about. But fanatical fan fiction and baseless true crime investigation seemingly matters more to some people than actually caring about the subject matter. And the sickest part is that if these people end up being right, they're going to want all the credit. They've been sitting on their asses in chairs just like this, in beds that most people all have, in cars, in front seats, in passenger seats that most people all have, saying, oh, well, I was right. I did this. While there was an active investigation into what happened to the young man that none of these people played a part in. So this conceited, selfish, righteous, wannabe, egotistical nature that you motherfuckers have in regards to this, fuck y'all. Y'all suck because you proved the point that I've been burping out for months. It's that mental health is not a conversation a lot of people want to have because I guess it's too triggering for you. But you know what's even worse than being triggered? Actually having to deal with it. Actually having that thought in your mind, best course of action is to just peace out. That is not triggering. That is traumatic. That is sad. That is depression. And that is a real thing people go through. And what does it say? That a man might have taken his own life, maybe for any reason under the sun. And motherfuckers, instead of actually taking a moment to honor, pay tribute, even a little rest in peace, instead decided fan fiction was more important because it validates how they feel while they dismiss how the deceased feel. I will end this video the exact way I ended the last one. I hope you watching this are okay. I hope up here you got everything figured out. I don't care about your money. I don't care about your fitness. I care about up here. Up here is what matters to me. I hope you are doing well. And if you're not, I hope you working on yourself so that you can be all right up here, because it's a long fucking life people lead where they're thinking about all the bad in their life and all the bad in their self-image. I hope you doing all right. And for you people that will dismiss that and shit on that and laugh at that, fuck you. You a piece of shit. I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.